They set his skull to be the bowl of the sky, with his brains for clouds. Odin and his brothers caught the sparks flying from Muspel and made them into snow.
Where have they gone? She did it, but it doesn't reach.
Looking back, she was so naive to think she could banish it on her own. The further she saw into the darkness, the more she struggled to see anything at all. And the gloom, the smallest hints of shape, sound, thought, grow in strength until they consumed her whole. Before she knew it, the darkness had her in its claws.
The gate is open! Open! She did it!
There is no such thing as victory when it comes to the darkness. It's like it doesn't want to kill her. Yet, it will gnaw at her, biding its time. Only when she is at her weakest will it strike to kill. Will she find Dilly before her time comes?
Overcome Valravan's final illusion to face him in his keep. I know you can do it, Senua. You have the sight.
We both see the darkness. We can fight it together. Speak to me, Druth. Tell me a story.
Senua, listen. I will tell you the tale of a man called Findan. The Northmen captured Findan's sister, and his father sent him to pay for her release. But they took his gold, put him in chains, and held him for a day and a night without food or water. Then they released him. I don't know why. Upon his return, his father's enemies in Erin set fire to his home. His father burnt to death, and his brother was killed. But he escaped with sorrow in his heart. His father's enemies offered redress for his loss and invited him to a feast. It was at a hall near the sea. But when he went there, they betrayed him to the Northmen, who enslaved him and took him to hell. 6 years later, his slave masters landed on the shores of Orkney, burning all before them. And into that fire, Findan made his escape. What was Findan burnt away that day. But from the flames, a new man stepped forward, and Druth was born. Druth, the man that I am now. And though Findan never set eyes on his dear sister again, I, Druth, have found you, Senua.
I wish you could have seen my home before these dark times.
gate is open. Open.
This darkness. I know it from the wilds. It's coming back for me.
I'm still here. Are you too? Where are we? I remember. It didn't end well in the wilds. It never does. You think you can overcome the darkness, make sense of it, and once relief settles in, it strikes out of nowhere, throwing you helplessly back into the maelstrom, drowning the mind in fear, deeper, deeper, dragging you down so far into the void that maybe this time there is no coming back. But there, in the darkness,
Senua,
and she remembered what he told her.
hear me. Reach out to me. Senua, take my iron mirror. Look into it, for it is a window into the underworld. Within, you will see the face of the darkness that you fear. And if you focus, like I have taught you to, you will also see that as much as the darkness has you trapped within its veil, it too is trapped within yours. Focus. Focus! Focus!
I see you! I see you now! You led me to the wilds! You trapped me there!
Stop! She will die. Stop! They're overwhelming. Stop them! Come this far, she needs to keep going. He's got it. Whoa!
never beat you in the wilds, did I? It was an illusion. But not this time!
The mark of Valravan, one of the keys to the gate to Helheim. Hold it in your mind's eye.
With every battle, the darkness grows stronger. Every victory bringing her closer to defeat. Unfair, isn't it? In those dark winter nights in the wilds, there were times when she considered letting go. If it weren't for Druth, a chance encounter in the wilds, she would not have heard his stories of the Northmen. And she would not have this chance to find Dillion's soul.
I'm coming. I still hear you.
When she was younger, she would lay in the grass and stare at the clouds. And as she saw them, elusive, shifting faces. After a while, she could see the faces everywhere. The trees, the mountains, caves. I wonder, can you see the faces too? They're there, if you look for them. Senua.
Mother?
Senua, you have the sight. Just like I do. Once you can see into the underworld and all the souls within it will see you. Don't be afraid when they speak to you. I will always be here to guide you.
Did you see her? That was her mother, Galina. She was a priestess, a healer. She taught Senua to see the weave that binds the world together. And it was beautiful. It was a time before the darkness. But when it did come, it first came for her mother. Senua still sees her face from time to time, hidden in the world. Like she's still watching over. She misses her so much.
Raven and the Mark of Surt, you may cross the bridge over the River of Knives to Helheim.
Why is she waiting?
Open
Open
the
the
gate.
gate. Open
No,
the
don't.
gate.
Don't. It's dangerous. It's dangerous. Don't open the gate. Don't.
She's done it.
It's so dark. It's dark. The dark.
Only the dead may cross.
Only the dead may cross
Only
into
the
hell.
dead may cross.
Truth? Anyone?
There is no one here but me.
Not you.
Did you think that I would let you go? That you lost me back in the wilds? I will never let you go. You can't get rid of me. I am your shadow. And I will be watching when you draw your last dying gasp.
I'm not ready to die.
You will be when you see what they did to your dear beloved. In this waking nightmare, where all dreams come true, you searched for control, a way to pull through. When you were in love, you left him in tears, to smother your furies and banish your fears. But in darkness they came, through stormy black seas they raided these shores. Do you still hear his screams? And now that you're home, he's so far away. They've taken his soul. To these gods you cannot pray. They can break you, but not your promise. Even death won't keep you apart. Through his darkness you will find him. In your sword still beats a heart. You fought for love unspoilt by your darkness within. You fought for your dreams. Now there's no way to win. In the head of his corpse lies the seat of his soul. So you must carry his vessel to bring him back home.
You did this! No! This is your fault!
They can break you, but not your promise. Even death won't keep you apart. Through this darkness you will find him. In your sword still beats a heart. The darkness touched you. Everyone could see it in the hollows of your eyes. A gaze averted from life. You ran from it but brought it nearer, led it to him. An endless suffering worse than death. And you wanted to surrender, abandon and to find peace with the gods. No. The darkness won't allow it. So you will walk into the lair of the beast. Look it in the eye, and you will go to war. This is your mission. This is your quest. There is nothing else left. The gods made you a warrior for a reason. It's your call.
Come this far, she needs to keep going.
Charge! Why suffer past when there is a new road ahead? The only one that makes any sense.
Too slow.
Charge!
He's gone!
Every gate you open into darkness brings another challenge.
She's injured.
journey to Helheim is never a straight one. Each must find their own path. Align yourself to its secrets, and you will find yours.
However you come to the gold-covered bridge that leads to Hell, you may find it guarded by a giantess. She will ask your name, she will ask your lineage, she will ask your business. The Northmen tell of the warrior woman Brynhild, who leapt into fire and rode to Hell to join her slain love Sigurd, and is challenged by the giantess. Hela possesses large dwelling places in Helheim. Tall are her walls, high are her gates. The name of her dish is hunger. Her knife is famine. On her threshold all will stumble. Her bed is called sick bed, and her bed hangings are called flames of a funeral pyre. They say she is easy to recognize, half black and half the color of flesh, and her face menacing and grim.
The gate is opening.
Who is it?
It's coming.
That song again.
Is it?
It's Hela.
Yes, the source of the darkness. It's coming. This is your moment.
I'm sorry.
What are you doing? You're showing weakness. You're not a warrior. You're a disgrace. The gods will punish you for this. Pick up the sword. Pick it up. Fight the darkness. Fight it. Get up. Get up. Get up and fight.
Stormy seas and lost souls.
She's dreamt of this before.
They say dreams are visions of our memories, thoughts and fears, as seen by our inner eye.
But what if each one of us is always dreaming, even when awake, and we only see what our inner eye creates for us?
Is this what hell is? A world shaped by Senua's nightmares. Maybe that's why people feared seeing the world through her eyes. Because if you believe that Senua's reality is twisted, you must accept that yours might be too.
You failed the gods. You're pathetic. Rotten. Cursed. What were you thinking? Did you really think you could win? How stupid can you be?
So stupid.
Everyone hates her. She's cursed.
The shadow hates.
Look at you. A warrior. Worthless. Weak. Pathetic. Go on. Feel sorry for yourself, because there's no one left to do that for you.
Everywhere. What's that?
Take it. If you're too much of a coward to fight, then end the suffering. Broken and lost. Just like your sword.
Come on. There.
Why go on when you give everything and face that which torments you, only to find that it is worse than you could have imagined? Why go on? Is it really so weak to ask this? Or are we just so afraid of the honest answer that we do not dare pose the question? Sometimes the answer lies in a memory, a feeling, a song.
It's not real. It's a trick. It's not real. It's real. Listen to it.
Don't give up.
Daddy. It's
Maybe you're already dead.
Who are you?
Do you still believe in me, Senua?
No, it's not. It's a trick. She knows it's a trick. He's already dead. He can't be here. It's impossible.
Come to me. Please.
The light. Go towards the light. It's him. There he is. It can't be him. It's just a trick. It's in your mind.
No, he's here.
It's in your mind.
It's real. What's happening?
Go towards it. There it is. You're imagining this. It's Dylan. He's gone. You were too slow. How could you? Keep going. How could you? Keep going. Ignore the pain. I told you it wasn't. He tricked you. I told you. Where are you going? See, there's nothing to fear. Come on.
Before she first met him, she was not in a good place. Just a teenager, but not like the others. Barely functioning, she rarely left the house. Her father Zinbao made sure of that. Only occasionally did she venture out on her own, collecting firewood and herbs. Errands out in the Orkney Plains. That was her world. Like this one. Barren and lonely.
It's already disappeared. Nothing lives here, not even you. It's in your mind. You think you can see it, but it's in your mind.
There he was. The lone figure of a boy. Swordplay under the shade of a tree. She remembers the first time she saw him. To her young eyes, he moved as if dancing. And the world danced with him. The gloom lifted. For the first time in years, she felt a ray of hope.
The Northmen tell of a great hero. His name is Sigmund. His father's hall was built around a great tree, and one day Odin comes and thrusts his sword into the tree, a gift to whomever can release it. Many try, but the sword only comes out at Sigmund's touch. His brother-in-law, King Siggeir, wants it, but Sigmund refuses him, so King Siggeir plots revenge. He invites Sigmund and his brothers to a feast. When they arrive, they are met with an army, not a warm welcome. King Siggeir captures Sigmund and his brothers, steals his coveted sword, and readies them for execution.
Watching from afar, she mimicked him, perfecting her own secret dance, wishing those fleeting moments of light would stretch out to last forever.
No, it's a trick. It's an illusion. It's not real. Do you really believe it? You want to believe it's real, but it's a trick. You're deluded. Where are you going? Where is she going? What is she following? You can't even fight. It's just deception.
How does he so effortlessly court the world and bliss? If only she could do the same. See the world through eyes anew and dance with it, just like he does.
What's your name?
Senua.
I haven't seen you before.
I don't leave home much.
Oh, Zenua's daughter.
I have to go.
Wait. Who taught you to fight like that?
No one.
No one?
Well, I watched you, and
You learnt all of that from watching me? You should become a warrior, you know.
me?
I'm Dilly. I'm here for the warrior trials. Just come and watch. And bring your sword.
You can't put it into words. That moment when you look into the eyes of the one who is supposed to reassure you, make you feel safe. It only takes an instant. Fear swallows you before you have a chance to make sense of it. And darkness becomes a part of who you are.
You killed him.
But her world changed the day the Northmen took him from her. Senua knows that there's no going back to how things were. That there's nothing to go back to at all.
Stay still, stay quiet, hide, don't tell her.
Their gods can see into your mind. They will use this power to destroy you.
He won't stop me. I can still feel him.
Whatever's left of him, they will never let him go.
I'm not gonna let him rot here.
You're the one rotting here.
Leave me alone.
You will die here.
No.
And all your suffering will have been for nothing.
Shut up! Dillion? Is that you? I'll find you, my love. I promise.
Marked by the tree. Can you see him? You want to believe it, because he's not real. Is he there? You're alone in these mountains. Is that Dillion? Nothing lives here. You won't survive. You met him by the tree? She met him by the tree. Maybe it's a sign, the tree. What's he trying to tell you? He's waiting for you by the tree. Take it.
A sword.
Take it.
Dillian left it for you.
Take it. Take it.
Take it.
It's coming from there and there.
What are they? Look, where's it coming from? She started something.
What's happening?
Senua, imagine a sword that can slay gods. Its name is Gramr. It was forged by the god of all Northmen, Odin, and gifted to Sigmund, a great warrior.
I need this sword. It's important. Can you help me?
The sword appears whole, but it is an illusion. It shattered into shards long ago. It is said a great warrior can reforge Gramr by answering the trials of Odin, one for each shard. The roots of the tree of death will take you to new lands where you will face the trials.
Go to the shards. Go to the shards. Where's the shard? Find it.
It's the metal runestones.
It's in front of you.
Find it.
The metal. The runes.
You need that sword.
Go to the shard.
Find the shards. Where is it?
Find it. There it is.
Focus.
There's the shard. Focus.
Focus.
Use your eyes. Look.
Get closer.
What can you see?
Go to it.
I want to
It's
tell
not
you a
safe.
story about a god of the Northmen called Baldur,
Come on.
the second son of Odin. He was beautiful, good, and wise. He was fair of feature, he spoke fair words, he gave fair judgments. Light shone from him. Only good things were told of him. Yet he was the first of the gods to die.
What does it see? You want to see.
Stay back, don't touch it.
You're curious.
Be careful.
It's not safe.
Trust us.
What does it see? Focus.
Focus. Focus on the mask.
Where are we?
What is this?
It's the same. It's another world. It's lighter.
That's nicer. I like it here.
The bridge.
It's not broken.
It's fixed.
What happened?
The bridge is fixed.
Let's cross it.
Dillian is in there.
Don't forget.
You can feel it.
You can feel his presence.
You need the runes to fight Dillian.
You need Dillian.
He's waiting for you.
He always...
Open the gate.
She can't.
Open the gate.
It's locked.
Try harder.
She can't. The gate.
She can't.
She can't. She will. She'll find out. She always finds a way.
through the gate.
Go through it.
It's dangerous.
Follow it.
What's behind the gate?
Where will it take you?
It's not safe.
Dillian.
There he is.
There he is.
What are you waiting for?
Quick, find a way.
Find him.
Go through.
Your curse.
Dillian.
Where is he?
Where's he gone?
We're in the wrong world.
He's not here.
She's in the wrong
You
world.
didn't know. He's not in the card.
He's in the other one. He's in the other one. He's in the dark world.
The dark.
The world once seemed so simple. Black and white. Darkness and light. Narrow dividing lines of our own making. Dillian taught her to see further. To peek through the cracks and see the worlds of colour stretching away from the gloom. And Senua explored new paths into the unknown.
About the death of Baldur. It begins with dark dreams. Night after night, Baldur dreams of his own death, and the gods fear for his life. So Baldur's mother makes everything in the world, fire, water, iron, stone, earth, wood, beasts, birds, serpents, poison, sickness, swear an oath not to harm her son.
Could she trust him?
One by one, they each make their vow. Neither weapons nor wood will injure him, Baldur's mother boasts. Only Loki, father of Hela, the mistress of death, is not amused.
What is the secret?
He was the only one that didn't mind the curse.
He loved her so much. Do you remember what love feels like?
Do you remember the smell of his neck?
Senua, you've got
Remember him whispering in your ear? Why isn't he here?
He's gone.
He's in the dark world.
He's gone to the dark world.
You're in the wrong world.
He's in the other world.
The dark world.
Without you. Do you remember how he made you feel?
You have no chance for love.
Nobody will love you again.
Ever again.
There he is. Where are you taking
He's
him?
up there.
He's up there.
How do you get up there?
There's a way. There is a way up there.
Darkness.
She can do this. You're nearly there. Just find the way. You have
The gods feast and rejoice and amuse themselves by throwing spears and stones at Balder, striking at him with sword and axe. But he comes to no harm, whatever they do. The gods never cease to wonder at this great marvel. But Loki shapes himself into a woman and asks Balder's mother, "Is it really true that all things promise to keep him safe?" "I did not ask the mistletoe," Balder's mother confesses. "I thought it was too young." Oh dear.
Do you know? Was it worth it?
You're still alive and Dillian's dead. He doesn't deserve to be dead.
How does that make you feel?
Do you know?
Was it worth it? You're still alive, still alive and
It's all your fault.
It's all your fault.
You're cursed. Do you remember what it was to touch him? Dillian saved her.
You owe your life to Dillian.
You owe everything to him.
Nobody will love her now.
Can you remember what love feels like?
Look what happens to the things she loves.
She destroys the things she loves. Dillian doesn't know who killed him, but we do.
You spoke like you could. He couldn't
him with your love because he believed in you.
You are guilty.
Was it worth it?
He led you astray.
You should have listened to your father when you had the chance.
Why didn't you listen to him?
His love has tortured you, and it tortures me. You kill the things you love with your curse.
You kill the things that are most precious to you.
You didn't deserve this. You kill the things that are most precious to you. She should have listened to her father.
Why didn't she listen to her father?
She thought she could defy her father. She thought she had light within her when she had blue.
She is pure darkness.
You had that loved you.
You squashed it, strangled it, flattened it.
The curse cannot be undone.
Just like it strangled him. You have no chance for love now.
Nobody will love you again.
Ever again.
You kill her. She thought she had light within her when she had blue.
She is pure darkness.
Nobody will love her now.
Can you remember what love feels like?
Look what happens to the things she loves. She destroys the things she loves.
You are guilty. Was it worth it? He led you astray.
You should have listened to your father when you had the chance.
Why didn't Listen to him.
This love has tortured you, and it tortures me.
You broke him. You killed him.
He couldn't see the darkness within you.
Do you know? Was it worth it?
You're still alive and Dillian's dead. He doesn't deserve to be dead.
How does that make you feel?
Dillian doesn't know.
Everything gets broken in the end.
You killed him with your love because he believed in you.
Loki makes a dart out of mistletoe and goes to the gods as they throw things at Balder. The blind god, Huth, was there. Loki asks him why he wasn't taking part. Huth says, "I cannot see where Balder stands, and even if I could see him, I have no weapon." Loki replies, "Here is a wand. I will tell you."
Years had passed since she left her father. She trained hard alongside her friend, Dillian. She saw things no one else could. Patterns, shapes, movement. An intuition that made her an exceptional warrior. Friendship turned to love. But the shadow of darkness never let her go, and she was caught between two worlds. That of Zinbel and her past, and Dillian, her future. Two realities tearing at her soul. You kill the things you love with your curse.
You kill the things that are most precious to you.
Dillian didn't deserve this. You have blood on your hands.
You are guilty. You will always be guilty.
Was it worth it?
It's all your fault.
It's all your fault.
You're cursed.
You have no time for this. Speed up. They've set you trials to distract you.
They've set you up, and now they're going to watch you fall.
What if these trials mean nothing?
It's laughing
Your
at
curse
you.
has claimed Dillian. Take you no closer to Dillian.
Didn't you know you're letting this get in the way?
What if they are just to tire you out, make you weak before the battle? He was the only one that really loved her.
He did love her.
He was the only one she could trust.
Could she trust him? He saw who she could be.
He saw who she really was.
He saw the warrior within.
Do you remember what it was to touch him?
Do you remember the way he stroked your hair?
Do you remember the way he felt?
Remember Dillian? Do you remember? Do you remember the sound of his voice?
What if they're all about wasting your time just delaying? Do you think she by minute to by minute? What does she think she's doing? You're not special. She thinks she can.
They mean nothing.
Being special.
Waste of time.
Could all be a waste of her time.
What if the gods are just toying?
Playing.
What if the gods are laughing at her?
Messing with her.
It wouldn't be
Be the first time. Do you even remember?
His love is guiding you. Look what happens to the things you love.
Was it worth it? Dillian doesn't know who killed him, but we do.
Remember Dillian? What do you remember? Do you remember the sound of his voice?
The Northmen tell how the gods mourned Balder. His body was to be burnt on his ship, but they could not manage to push it into the sea, and sent for a giantess to do it. She comes riding a wolf and has vipers for her reins. She pushes Balder's ship into the sea with such force that the ground shakes and the rollers burst into flames. When Balder's wife sees his body carried onto the ship, her heart bursts with grief, and she dies. She's put next to her husband, and the pyre is lit, sending the dead to hell. But even so, the gods cannot accept his death.
Do you remember how I made you feel? You broke him, you killed him.
He couldn't see the darkness within you.
The curse.
And now the darkness is swallowing you both. Look what happens to the things you love. What if this is pointless?
What are you doing? Why did you think you could make this work?
You keep seeing runes. You see runes everywhere.
Everywhere. What if they're not real? What if they don't actually make sense?
If they're a trick.
The
gods were lying.
If you think it makes sense, but really the gods are playing with you.
It makes sense in your mind, but it doesn't make sense in your worlds.
But it doesn't mean it.
You don't understand.
Sinbel was right.
You're wasting time.
You're cursed. You'll never succeed. So, quicker.
Dillian!
Dillian never much cared for the underworld. He looked dimly upon the druids, like her father, Sinbel. I guess he took after his father, a chieftain who believed nothing he couldn't see. And he happened to be blind. She felt safe in Dillian's arms, and to see the world through his eyes. Slowly,
Do it.
the darkness that had bound her so tightly began to unravel.
Very careful.
You've come this far, don't let him slip away.
It's a narrow bridge. And there's a long way to fall. There he is. Be careful.
Go to him. Go to him.
That's it. Go.
Quicker.
It's your fault. He's disappeared. You've lost him to the sea. He's gone. You've lost him to the water. He's gone to the water. He's drowned.
Senua, your father cannot understand your darkness. He cannot see through your eyes. No one can. My own father was born blind. Doesn't have the faintest idea of what the night looks like. The word dark to him means as little as the word light. So someone is afraid of the dark. Should we fix them by taking away their sight? Would you give up the beautiful world that you, and only you, can see just to be rid of your nightmares? Or is this the price you pay for the gift you have? A gift that makes you so special in my eyes. Just another part of the person I love.
I left for the wilds to protect you from my darkness. Because I love you. But it made it worse. I'm so sorry.
It's done.
You did it.
But there's more. There's more.
You're tired, but you have to keep going.
There's still more.
There's always more to do.
It's not going to be easy. Can you do another one?
It's too much.
Have you got the energy? She hasn't got the energy.
No. Too much to do.
I saw once a plague strike northern lands of ice. It was so terrible that not the oldest man among us could remember the like. Hundreds died. The sickness took nearly every person younger than 40 and many older, and where dying mothers gave birth, the marks of the plague were on the babes as they came out of the womb.
Where are we? I don't like it. This place feels...
What is this place?
This place feels... It's... creepy. Creepy.
It feels wrong.
It feels strange. Where is it?
There he is.
There he is.
The light.
Go towards it.
He's in the house. He's
Find
going
it.
in.
He's disappearing.
Follow him.
Don't let him disappear.
The air's gone.
Keep going.
How do you find it? It's just a trial.
It's just another test.
You just have to solve it, and then you will find him.
Then you'll succeed.
He's so close.
must see him.
Like the old warrior trials. Dillian will help me.
The stench of rot. She can almost taste it. Do you smell it? No. Don't worry. Not everyone can. It was a warm spring day when she went to the river with Dillian and the others. To the water. She could taste the rot. But no one else could. She knew something was wrong. Something sinister. She begged them to leave, but they just laughed at her. But soon enough, as the bodies piled up, no one was laughing. And they knew that she was not like that.
You must. You have to get to the house. You have to find Dillian. It doesn't finish until you get to the house.
Before he disappears, Senua.
You have to get in.
The Northmen speak of a death moon, a light shaped like a half moon that appears inside a house and goes around the walls. I once saw the death moon appear at a farm, and first the shepherd died, then a guest died, and then the farmhand, and then the farmer and 6 of his men drowned at sea. But that is not the end of it, because the dead return to haunt the living. If you see the death moon, then beware. because there will be death in that house.
She did it.
You fixed the bridge.
She fixed it.
You passed the trial. Get to the house.
Done.